Greetings and welcome back to room 303 and our chats with Emily's. We're calling our readings through the Johnson edition of 1,775 poems of Emily Dickinson. We now turn to poem 54, If I Should Die and You Should Live. It's a fascinating poem. This is one of those poems that will produce a certain kind of ironic voice. And many who have read Emily Dickinson have said it's often difficult to know whether we're looking at irony and satire or if we're looking at seriousness. This will be one of those places where we will have, I'm going to call it the Socratic sarcastic voice. And in that regards, I find this poem fascinating. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net. Down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily is our playlist. And I'm hopeful that you had a moment or two to take a look at our intro lecture and then all of the preceding poems. We just finished with poem 53 taken from Men this morning. Now, again, this poem is going to deal with death and loss, there's no question. But it's going to challenge us in some ways to recognize the voice of Emily that we got to call satiric. I mean, word choice alone will give us a sense of it. If I should die and you should live, and time should gurgle on, this gurgling will take us to poem 30. You'll remember gurgle down and down. And time should gurgle on. Notice the anaphoria here of the repetition of and. And time should gurgle on, and morn should beam, and noon should burn, as it has usual done. In other words, life goes on. If, notice the repetition of if birds should build as early and bees as bustling go, one might depart at option from enterprise below. Notice the exclamation point, right? 'Tis sweet. Notice the irony of this language and the economic language, right? 'Tis sweet to know that stocks will stand when we with daisies lie. My Emily study group pointed out that in Celtic legend that God would flower the earth with daisies when a child especially died. And I want to attribute this observation to their research. 'Tis sweet to know that stocks will stand when we with daisies lie, that commerce will continue and trades as briskly fly. In other words, the economic world will go on once I'm parted, she says. It makes the parting tranquil. Again, notice the ironic voice here. And keeps the soul serene. That gentlemen so sprightly conduct the pleasing scene. I love that she finishes with this word scene and an exclamation point. You'll remember in Whitman's O Mio Life, the powerful play goes on, and we may contribute a verse. Here it's a scene. Well, what exactly is it, do you think, that she's saying here? Well, I think one of the arguments that she's making is that we live in a very busy world where life goes on, and death is a part of that. And the stock market still does its thing, and the economic markets still do their thing, and business goes on. Business, there it is. Business goes on. At 2B, I love the satiric voice here and her word choice of sweet and tranquil and serene and pleasing. And you wonder, you get the sense that maybe she doesn't actually mean all of those words. In other words, it's a hard world that we live in where the dead pass and then life just continues to move on. At 3A, well, I cannot help but think of Hardy's Are You Digging on My Grave? We've given a full lecture on this one. And, of course, as well, Teasdale's There Will Come Soft Rains. Think about those two poems. We've given full lectures at learnstrong.net. But think about the satiric voice, the pessimistic satiric voice of both. Notice Teasdale will even say it, that after the wars are all done, the frogs will still be doing their froggy life type of thing. Life, in other words, goes on. 3B, how do you, and to own this, how do you regard Emily's sarcastic voice here? How do you read it? And do you think she's being serious, or do you think she is being sarcastic or ironic? I kind of will leave that one up to you. And how do you balance that idea that life is precious and important, but once it's gone, life really does go on, and the world really does go on? How do you maintain your optimism in the face of that recognition? Thank you.